It's interesting to reflect on it now because I don't feel like I've changed that much. The seed was always there. Me always kind of having a direction and having, an opinion and having an idea and steering a ship, that was always there. Whether people, kind of want to believe that or not, I really have, kind of found this place right now where I definitely don't have it all together and I don't know it all, but I'm really happy with the current state of, feeling like I'm comfortable in my body and feeling like I'm comfortable in my mind and allowing moments to be the moments that I'm in.
Sabrina Carpenter feels like the result of everything that came before her. She's the product of decades of pop evolution, the confidence of Britney Spears, the pen of Taylor Swift, the polish of Ariana Grande, and the self-awareness of Madonna, all distilled into one artist built for a new generation. It's easy to see that Sabrina Carpenter was always an artist who really wanted it. I couldn't tell you exactly what drew me to Sabrina specifically at first. I've never watched an episode of Girl Meets World. That was way past my Disney Channel era. I stopped somewhere around Good Luck Charlie's second or third season. But if anything, Sabrina, along with Olivia Rodrigo, and maybe some others that I'm missing, proved that Disney could still cultivate real pop stars in this current era. My golden age, and for a while the last, I feel, golden age of Disney Channel, was around 2006 to 2011, the era of Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, and Selena Gomez. I don't think we'll ever see another wave like that. For a long time, I didn't feel qualified to speak about Sabrina because I didn't share the same nostalgia that others did. I was not there from the beginning, but I was paying attention when others weren't, though.
I think about old songs of mine that I released when I was quite young. I think maybe it wasn't sonically exactly what I wanted yet, or maybe it wasn't fully written exactly the way I would write it now, but the ideas were there, and like the humor was there, and the cheekiness, or like the I don't know, the direction.
Case in point, emails I can't send. I'm fully aware that she had a music career before this, but emails was the true starting point of modern day Sabrina Carpenter to me. Compared to what came before, this record feels like the genesis of her current persona. Before emails though, the only song of hers that I'd ever heard was Honeymoon Fades, which I randomly caught at work one day. And I remember asking who it was, and when my coworker kept saying Sabrina Carpenter, I kept correcting them to Sabrina Claudio because the R&B sound of that track did not match what I thought Sabrina Carpenter's music would sound like. But I was mistaken, obviously, and pleasantly so. That R&B influence stuck with me. Fast forward to emails, and a little song titled Fast Times changed everything for me. I was a day one stan for this record, and to this day I still think that it should have been her breakout hit, or close to it. It was unique, it was fresh, and it was decidedly pop, and that's what drove me to it, both in sound and her look in the music video. The impact of Britney Jean Spears is not discussed nearly enough. Fast Times didn't even chart though, which is wild, but it set the stage for what was to come. Her next major moment was the ridiculously catchy Nonsense, which was a #1 hit in my head for weeks, if not on the charts. It peaked at number 56 in the US, which honestly feels criminal because I feel like that song was everywhere. I couldn't go a day without hearing it. The cleverness of changing the outro at every performance was genius to me. And that was when I realized that Sabrina was filling a void that had been empty since Ariana Grande went quiet after the conclusion of the Positions era. I remember specifically thinking about Nonsense that it sounded like an Ariana Grande song, and I could hear Ariana Grande on it, and I thought, oh, an Ariana remix would really boost this, although it never came. And I don't say that to say that I was implying that Sabrina was copying her, but because the song just radiated that same energy that I got from Ariana, which was fun, flirtatious, and just unapologetically pop. After that came Feather, which was another key moment that fared better. It peaked at number 21. I couldn't understand why this girl who was delivering what was pop perfection in my eyes wasn't getting her flowers.
There's this idea of you have to come out the gate and smash it, and if you don't do that, it's almost like you don't know who you are, or you don't know yourself. I'm just one of those artists that it took a few tries, and I don't even think of it as it took a few tries to be good or to be successful. I just think maybe for people to understand it and catch on to who I am.
Before the bravado, before the cheeky one-liners and slick innuendos, there was Emails. It leans heavily into its theme of unsent truth. Songs like Vicious and Because I Liked a Boy sit with pain without dressing it up. There's no comedic armor yet, no sparkle to distract from the ache, just frustration, regret, and hard-won clarity. Tornado Warnings in particular is one of the most brutally self-aware songs she's ever written. She outlines how she keeps engineering her own heartbreak in pursuit of someone who isn't good for her. The hook literally has her confessing that she's lying to her therapist, an admission of self-sabotage presented without a single punchline to soften it. Even the title feels like misdirection, echoing how she avoids acknowledging what's truly happening emotionally. The standard edition closes on Decode, a heart-wrenching highlight that feels like the emotional exhale of the entire project. It carries a sense of realization, finally understanding what someone meant, what the relationship really was, yet still feeling unsatisfied with the truth you've uncovered. The exhaustion in her voice ends the album on a note that is both somber and conclusive, like the final unsent draft finally abandoned. Emails I Can't Send is Sabrina's emotional foundation. It's her most straightforward, least filtered work, the one where she lets the hurt show without disguising it in glitter. But even inside that honesty, she plants the seeds of the persona that would fully bloom on Short and Sweet and Man's Best Friend. Because in those later albums, the vulnerability is still there. It's just wearing a new outfit.
When I started, becoming more sexual as a person, I think it's just something that's a part of life. You want to write about it. I didn't realize it was as taboo of a topic until I started writing about it more freely. I feel as though I'm being pretty harmless, and I'm being pretty playful with the way that I say these things. So I do. I just do what makes me happy, what makes me laugh. Girls in their room are going to be getting ready to, and I think that's a lot of what gets me excited.
So it doesn't sound overtly sexual to you?
Of course it does.
Oh, okay.
Sing it to me!
Short and Sweet serves as Sabrina Carpenter's grand spotlight moment, the point where the world could no longer ignore her ever-brightening light. Sabrina has openly said that Short and Sweet was crafted meticulously using the constructive criticism from emails I can't send, and you can hear that intention throughout the record. The success of Nonsense and Feather, even if not as massive as they deserve to be, directly shaped the direction of this era. Their playfulness, their tongue-in-cheek humor, their accessibility, all of that fed into the creation of what is, at this point in time, Sabrina's magnum opus. A blend of pop, funk, and dance subgenres, Espresso is the thesis statement of Sabrina Carpenter. It's catchy, playful, full of clever innuendos, endlessly quotable, and dripping with charisma. Every artist has that one song that encapsulates exactly who they are, and for Sabrina, this is that song. But Short and Sweet isn't just defined by one hit. It is to date Sabrina's most stylistically far-reaching record. It experiments with country, R&B, funk, disco, and retro pop influences while remaining remarkably cohesive within the larger pop framework. At its core, it's a pop album, but one that stretches in several different directions without ever losing its center. The versatility is obvious from just its first 3 tracks. Taste leans into an 80s inspired synth pop groove, while Please 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 taps into 60s and 70s pop with a country twang. Good Graces carries a smooth R&B elegance. All 3 songs fall under the pop umbrella, but each approaches the genre from a completely different angle, showcasing a stylistic flexibility from Sabrina that feels both surprising and intentional, largely because it fuses the artistic sentiments of Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift, 2 of the biggest forces in 21st century pop. Short and Sweet takes Ariana's airy sensuality and R&B pop fluidity and pairs it with Taylor's sharp storytelling and wry emotional intelligence. Songs like Espresso, Good Graces, and Bedkim evoke the playfulness of Ariana Sweetener and Thank You Next eras, while Taste, Please Please Please, and Sharpest Tool echo Taylor's melodic instincts and lyrical framing. This isn't to diminish Sabrina's individuality. If anything, it highlights how she casts a wider artistic net than ever before. Short and Sweet thrives because it pulls from various influences and synthesizes them into something unmistakably hers. But the sound alone wouldn't mean much without the right star to carry it, and Sabrina's performance throughout this era shows why she was the perfect fit. She markets herself incredibly well, leaning into a brand built on raunchy, coy, witty honesty delivered with charm. This brings us to one of the most important layers of the Short and Sweet era, Sabrina's embrace of a modernized blonde bombshell persona. She taps into a Marilyn Monroe-esque archetype, but not in the dismissive, derogatory sense that stereotype has historically been used. Sabrina understands the power of weaponized femininity. She adopts hyper-feminine, bubbly, flirtatious aesthetics, not because she is reinforcing the dumb blonde trope, because she is reclaiming and recontextualizing it. Her double entendres, her calculated delivery, the sparkly visuals, the flirty jokes, all of it is intentional. She embodies a version of femininity that society often looks down on, but she does it with complete self-awareness and full control. It's empowerment wrapped in glitter. By embracing these qualities, being girly, playful, sexy, dramatic, self-indulgent, sparkly, she transforms what was once used to belittle women into an artistic strength. Good Graces, the 3rd track on Short and Sweet, is a burst of confidence and assertiveness. A song rooted in boundaries, it draws a clear line between Sabrina's softness and her self-respect. She can be sweet, loving, and affectionate, but the moment she senses disrespect or shady behavior, it's over. Placed immediately after Please Please Please, the contrast is striking. In the previous track, she's pleading for honesty, terrified of losing someone she loves. There's vulnerability, fear, and the desperate hope that her partner won't embarrass her publicly or emotionally. Then Good Graces arrives like a snapback to reality, a reminder that yes, she's capable of deep love, but not at the expense of her dignity. Together, the two tracks capture the duality of Sabrina's romantic lens, the fear of losing someone and the strength to walk away if she has to. Bed Kim, the sixth track on the album, is one of the most sensual and intoxicating songs Sabrina has ever made, and arguably one of her best. The title alone signals what kind of chemistry she's referring to, and the track delivers on that promise. It's smooth, flirtatious, and soaked in early 2000s R&B influence, a sound Sabrina has cited as major inspiration. Juno is pure pop perfection, clever, electric, and bursting with passion. On the surface, it could be dismissed as just another horny Sabrina Carpenter song, but there's far more depth here. The song carries an emotional intensity that elevates it far beyond its playful exterior. It uses pregnancy as a metaphor, referencing the 2007 film Juno, to express a desire for a love so powerful and affirming that it makes her imagine a life, a future, and a family. The lyricism is cheeky, yes, but it's also surprisingly tender. By far, the highest point of this record for me personally comes at the very end. Don't Smile, the closing track on Short and Sweet, is one of the most mystifying and haunting songs Sabrina has ever recorded, and easily one of my favorites of all time. Where much of the album sparkles with wit and flirtation, Don't Smile sinks into the quiet ache left behind after a breakup. It subverts the famous saying, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened," and flips it into something far more sobering. It's bitter, wounded, and brutally honest. She doesn't want her ex to remember their time fondly. She wants them to hurt like she does, to feel that sting of regret, to think of her when they're with someone new. Interestingly, this mirrors the album's opening track, Taste, where she asserts that even when her ex moves on, a part of her lingers. Taste begins the cycle with a lingering presence. Don't Smile ends it with a desire for emotional accountability, two sides of the same heartbreak. The somber, hypnotic production recalls the reflective tone of Decode, the final track from Emails I Can't Send. Like that song, Don't Smile ends the album on an unresolved, aching note, beginning a pattern of Sabrina closing her albums with emotional uncertainty rather than happy endings. In the end, Short and Sweet is a triumph for Sabrina Carpenter. It's the record where her true artistic identity clicks into place. It proves she wasn't just another rising pop girl. She became a pop force.
I stay, girls come home. I walk, I'm not gonna take my phone. Take my phone and lose your number. And I wanna be tempted. Pick up when you wanna fall back in. You can't fake it, but you know I know. Sing it to me. Don't smile because it happened, baby. About me every time you walk home. It's all over. You're supposed to think about me every time you walk home.
Short and Sweet was a record that I worked on for 2.5 years after I made an album called Emails I Can't Send. And it really was based off of the constructive criticism from Emails I Can't Send that I made Short and Sweet. You know, obviously it was also my life and my experiences that I was going through, but kind of taking into account, you know, the way that I really wanted to refine that sound and some of those pop songs into something very glossy was one way of doing it. It was sort of like I felt like I had accomplished something that had something for everybody, and they really liked it. And then I was like, now I'm gonna make this, not just for me, but you know what I mean? Like I'm not making it so I can appease and, you know, check all the boxes for everyone that liked this and this about the last album. Let me make a new album.
Yeah.
Let me try some things. It's like I already did that.
Yeah.
I did that last album. Do you want to hear the same album again? No. Something about this album that I knew was going to take a second, just simply because of how much is going on. If you don't like it, that means I did something right, because I think it means like you're not used to it. It's not something that's so digestible. It's not something that, you know, immediately is just like, yes. And not to say that you can't have amazing songs that are great on the first listen.
Man's Best Friend is honestly an album I didn't fully get on the first listen. It's a slow burn. One of those records that requires time, space, and a few revisits before its intentions click. And honestly, those often end up being the ones that hit the hardest. Man's Best Friend doesn't have the raw emotional immediacy of Emails I Can't Send, nor the pop polish and stylistic acrobatics of Short and Sweet. But what it does have is clarity. If you're expecting more of nonsense, espresso, or bedchem, Man's Best Friend isn't the album you want. While I personally prefer Short and Sweet and Emails, it's still a record that has grown on me in the last few months since its release. Even if I don't prefer this album, it's still one I respect. This is her most concise and thematically direct album so far. Stylistically, it remains a pop record, but one that draws from an impressively diverse palette of retro influences.
There's a lot of psychedelics going on in this album, and it's because I was so inspired by 60s, 70s, 80s, and some of these like almost score-like instrumentations.
Tears is a shining beacon on this record that almost fakes you out due to it coming so early in the track list. It genuinely doesn't sound like anything else on Man's Best Friend. In my opinion, this is one of the best songs of 2025, and currently it's my second favorite Sabrina song, but she's gonna have to do a lot for me to top Don't Smile. Tears serves as the second single from Man's Best Friend following Manchild, a love letter to disco and the 1970s right down to its visuals, which take direct inspiration from the 1975 classic The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Lyrically, the song is very erotic, finding Sabrina getting turned on at the thought of a responsible, respectful man. Never Getting Laid is another favorite of mine from this record, and it's one of the clearest distillations of what Man's Best Friend is actually about. The complicated space between wanting to move on gracefully and still being a little bit delusional, petty, and emotionally territorial. But instead of leaning fully into the bitterness the way she might have on Emails I Can't Send, Sabrina approaches the feeling with more nuance, that blend of cynicism and sweetness that defines this album. Never Getting Laid turns that deeply human insecurity into something blunt, funny, self-aware, and weirdly tender. It's an acknowledgement that wishing someone the absolute best is sometimes emotionally dishonest, but there's a middle ground where you can hope they're fine, just not thriving in ways that reopen old wounds. In my opinion, Sabrina's music touches on very specific, relatable experiences that are hard to put words to, yet she finds a way to do it with such cleverness and charm, and that's ultimately her greatest strength. Serving as track 11, House Tour is one of the most playful tracks on Man's Best Friend, in line with Tears. Incredibly clever, fun, and unserious, House exemplifies the playful raunchiness that Sabrina has become known for.
It's just a different album. Doesn't mean it's for me. It's never going to be better or worse. I just wanted to make the next thing because I had something to say.
The cover sparked exactly the kind of knee-jerk reaction that every pop great receives at least once in their career. As usual, the intention went straight over people's heads. It's satire, a tongue-in-cheek challenge to the misogynistic expectations placed on women and their sexual desires. Sabrina is clearly operating in the Madonna tradition of sexual provocation as commentary, pushing buttons simply because she can, and because the public's prudishness makes it all the more fun. It's become a staple trait of her persona.
That's the thing, is sometimes people hear the lyrics that are really bold and they go, I don't want to sing this in front of other people. It's like, it's almost too, it's TMI. I think that's what's really exciting about this album. Even though it comes from a lot of really
Painful things.
painful places, confusing moments in my life, I was able to sort of turn it into something that's so celebratory and weirdly like bring a lot of light to my life and to my friends. And as simple as that sounds, or as cliche as it sounds, it's sort of something that excites me right now.
Man's Best Friend tackles a lot of the same territory as her previous albums, but from a different emotional angle. There's a distinctly breakup-mindedness to the album. If Short and Sweet was her core essence, her most powerful and polished self, then Man's Best Friend is her most unapologetically Sabrina record. So unapologetically Sabrina, in fact, that at moments it brushes up against self-parody, which honestly feels intentional. Sabrina gives the impression of someone who responds to controversy by leaning even harder into the exact thing people criticize her for. If the world tells her she's too flirty, too cheeky, too unserious, too bombshell-coded, she doubles down. Man's Best Friend is the sound of Sabrina Carpenter doing exactly that.
I remember very vividly when I was around 10 years old, I saw Miley Cyrus play an arena. She was 16, and I was like, I want to play arenas. Like that's what I want to do. I want to make music. I want to play arenas, and I thought I was going to do it by 16, and reality definitely settled, and it took me a little bit longer, but I'm playing them now, and it's like a little. It's like you're talking to your childhood self.
The pace at which things happen, and already it's been a year since the last album, and I'm finishing the end of the Short and Sweet tour the end of this year. And again, like I said, it's because I made Short and Sweet between the years of 23, 24, and I made this album at 25. Already you're sort of like, okay, I agreed to do these shows a year ago, and I'm in a different headspace now, and I'm never gonna sacrifice again what feels good, and what I actually feel really like strongly about. I'm the same way with videos. I don't want to just put out a video for the sake of putting it out. That's why I didn't do a video for Bedcam or a video for Juno on the last album, because I was like, truthfully, I don't think I want a fourth single with a video that doesn't match up to the three that I made that I felt so confident in. I think I came out of a sad situation a lot less bitter than I intended or expected to, with like a little bit more of the like, you know what, there's two people involved. It's not, and this is part of like growing up. I don't want to be enemies with people that I loved. I loved them.
Above all else, there's a clear through line through the trio of records, an ever-increasing confidence and self-awareness. Ultimately, Emails I Can't Send is the emotional groundwork of Sabrina's entire current arc. It is the purest expression of her worldview, that love is messy, that she plays a part in that mess, and that the only way forward is to laugh, own it, and keep moving. Short and Sweet and Man's Best Friend simply build a playful, confident, pop-forward shell around that core truth. Sabrina's artistry is not about pretending things are okay. It's about surviving them with humor, accountability, and a level of agency most pop stars never write with. In my humble opinion, one of the greatest things this woman has ever done is the album's penultimate track, House Tour. Serving as track 11, House Tour is the. I'm so tired. Okay. Serving as track 10. Serving as track 10. It's not 10. That very clearly says 11. In this track, Sabrina uses the double entendre of. I'm sick of saying double entendre. I've said double entendre so much in this video. In this track, Sabrina uses the oh my god. In this track, Sabrina uses the double entendre of touring a house to personificate. Is that a word? I'm just taking this whole sentence out.